Hi guys, today I'm going to be doing a lens review of this Canon EF 50mm f1.4 USM lens, and I'm going to start right now. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is James, and if it is the very first time to this channel and you want to learn all about Photoshop, Lightroom and everything photography related, start now by subscribing and hitting the bell so you don't miss anything. So in this review today guys, I'm going to be doing a review of this Canon EF 50mm f1.4 USM lens, and I'm going to be breaking these reviews down into 5 different parts so we can work out together if this lens is worth a spot in your camera bag. So without further ado guys, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about is the build quality of this lens. So this lens has a premium plastic construction with a rubberized focus ring. This lens also includes a focus window, which is perfect if you're planning on wanting to use this lens for manual focusing. It's also nice to see on a lens of this price range. On the rear of the lens, you will also see a metal mount plate. This really does add a compact, rigid shell to this lens. On the front of this lens, you will also see that the front glass element is safely recessed into the camera body, which is perfect for protection, meaning you don't have to buy a lens hood or UV filter. When I first purchased this lens, I found that the focus ring was smooth and well damped, but over time and using this lens a lot, I have found that it is stiffened up and become difficult to use, especially for video work. This lens also doesn't have weather sealing, which is not great if you're planning on wanting to take this lens in the great outdoors. So due to the premium plastic construction, stiff focus ring and lack of weather sealing, I'm going to be giving this lens a 7 out of 10 for build quality. So the next thing I'm going to be talking about is image quality. This lens provides sharp images and has an incredibly bright 1.4 aperture, which is perfect for shallow depth of field shots and low light photography. And due to the standard 50mm focal length, this lens is perfect for all types of photography, including landscapes, portraits and street photography. This lens also has an 8 aperture bladed diaphragm, and with an incredibly low aperture of 1.4, this lens is great for creative photography and adding in an incredibly smooth background blur, or bokeh. Also compared to the 50mm 1.8, this lens lets in 66% more light, which really does show you the advantages of having a 1.4 aperture lens in your camera bag. But when using this lens, I have found a prominent vignetting issue, especially if you stop down to 1.4. The lens also has a problem with soft and blurry corners, especially if you stop down anything below f2. In fact, I would say the 50mm 1.8 is sharper corners at 1.8. So due to this lens having a prominent vignetting issue and a problem with soft and blurry corners, I'm only going to be giving this lens a 7 out of 10 for image quality. So the next thing I'm going to be looking at is the size and weight of this lens. And as this is a 50mm standard prime lens, the lens is quite small and won't take a lot of room up in your camera bag. Even with the lens hood attached, this lens really isn't large at all, especially compared to other 1.4 aperture prime lenses. And with a filter thread of just 58mm, the filter price will be considerably cheaper than other prime lenses out there on the market. And due to the premium plastic construction and it not being a metal construction like some Sigma and some Tamron lenses, this lens is also quite light, weighing in at just 290 grams or 0.64 pounds in the US. So this lens is great if you're planning on wanting to take it on a long hike or maybe even on holiday. So, as this lens is small and light and won't take up a lot of room up in your camera bag, I'm going to be giving this a 9 out of 10 for size and weight. So the next thing I'm going to be looking at, and number 4 on my list, is the focus motor. And as this lens has a USM or an ultrasonic motor, this allows for extremely quick and near silent autofocusing, and with an impressive amount of torque to ensure the focus is obtained quickly and accurately without overshooting. Although after a while I have found there is to be a little bit of noise, especially if you're using this lens on autofocus for video work, so I probably wouldn't recommend the inbuilt microphone if you'll be using this lens. Furthermore, this lens also has a full-time manual override available, making it possible to adjust the focus without leaving autofocus mode. But due to the stiff focus ring that I discussed previously and the noise when using it for video work, I wouldn't recommend this lens for video. So I'm only going to be giving this lens a 6 out of 10 for focus motor control. And last but not least is the price. And coming in at just £339 in the UK, this lens is reasonably priced, especially if you compare it to other 50mm standard prime lenses at 1.4 aperture. But if you do compare it to, for instance, the Canon 50mm 1.8 coming in at just £99, this lens is 3 times the price. And in my opinion, I don't think this lens is 3 times better, especially if you're on a budget and you don't want to spend too much on a standard 50mm lens. But if you were, for instance, to have a larger budget, I would probably recommend the superior optics of the Canon 50mm 1.2, which has an even more impressive aperture of 1.2, which lets in double the light of the 1.8 and not just 66% more, and in my opinion is one of the sharpest lenses at this focal distance. So I'm going to be giving this lens a 7 out of 10 for price, as I think there are better options out there, but again, this is reasonably priced at just £339. Brilliant, and there we go guys. So that is my lens review of this Canon EF 50mm f1.4, and with a respectable score of 36, this is a recommended lens to have in your camera bag. But if you're wanting a cheaper lens, for instance the 50mm f1.8, or more superior optics like the 50mm f1.2, then there are other options out there. Again guys, if you want to like, comment and subscribe to my channel, it really does help my channel grow. Also, if you want to hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of my latest content. But until next time guys, keep creating.